What is going on, everyone, and welcome to a special video that we have today. So I think this is going to be an interesting topic. 10 mistakes that I've made in BDO. Now, this is going to be a little updated video, and I guess a 2023 edition of things you should, not do. So I'll give you a little bit of a story of all the 10 things we've did and tell you how to go about the optimal way of doing it. So I have a little list of things, and number one, before we start, I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the support on the videos lately. You guys are awesome. I am doing a giveaway on the new Wusa outfit box. So basically it's this one. Where is it? Yeah, this outfit here. So the partners were given a few codes to give away, and I have 2 of them. And this isn't the video, but check out the other one that I did previously. It'll have like giveaway in the title, so check out that video. It'll tell you the rules and instructions for all that stuff. But if you're interested in getting the outfit, just join the Discord and watch that video, so they'll tell you what to do from there. But with that said, yeah, 10 things that I've made mistakes on playing BDO over the almost 7 years I've been playing this game. So number 1, comparing yourself to other players and like gear checking your friends. So as you guys know, in MMOs, it's very competitive, right? So let's say you start the game with your friend, you want to compete to see who's better. I always understand competition in video games, and this is one of those games where all it takes is one person to get lucky one time, and you could be literally weeks, months behind. So one thing I would say not to do is compare yourself to other players, other streamers, content creators, and I would just say play at your own pace. Because one, if you compare yourself, you're gonna get burnt out, because yeah, I know everyone is at a different pace in the game. And the best way to play this game is not your traditional route. It's a sandbox MMO. So I would say basically just do what you want and mostly just play the way you like, whether it's fully optimized or you're just doing things you enjoy. As long as you're enjoying the game, then by all means, go for it. Hold on a second. I gotta refresh these buffs. We're just processing some random stuff right now. All right. So yeah, don't compare yourself to other players. Just work at character progression at your own pace and you'll be good. Number 2, reselling gear for upgrades. Now, just like every other game, there's a tax system. If you sell something on the market, you get taxed. Now, for 99% of things, I know that if you're trying to go for your first like pen weapon, or I don't know, just anything in general, what you should do is basically just save up until you can buy it. Now, what I've seen people do over time is, I don't know, sell a piece of gear to get a higher tier piece of gear. So one thing I think is okay is, let's say you're going for your first pen black star, right? And then you have a current Tet Black Star. I think it's okay to sell that Tet Black Star to upgrade if you are guaranteed to be getting it. Like, there's one just sitting on the market and you can for sure buy it. What I don't think is okay is, like, let's say you're going for your first Pen Black Star, but you have to sell an armor piece for it, because it's bad to trade up gear in this game. And one thing I would say is going down in gear score or just gear progression really feels bad, and it's like literally the opposite of what this game is all about. So one thing I would say is be patient. This is definitely not like a really fast game. It's progression based, whereas your traditional MMO is, here, you just get the highest end gear, dude, raids, get raid gear, and you're good until the next expansion. It's not really how this game works, but yeah. So save up money, and generally a rule of thumb is if you can buy it off the market, it's generally better than making it yourself. Obviously, there are people that get lucky in this game and spend significantly less than it costs to make it. But I would say for your average player, just being able to save up and buy it is the safer and better overall choice for most people. Tip number 3 is not using optimal fail stacks. Now, this one is a very tricky topic to talk about because there's a lot of information out there to remember, and necessarily, like, I don't think there is a wrong way to do it, but there are non-optimal ways to do it. So it's hard to discuss this in a very short period of time because using fail stacks to upgrade your gear is not really a concept that most people use in video games. So it's like, the higher your fail stack, right, the higher chance to succeed your next piece of gear. However, to boost that fail stack, you have to fail gear. So that's a general concept of how it works, right? But there is a certain point at some like item level where it's not worth clicking on a certain percentage. It's very hard to explain how this works if you don't play the game, and that's kind of how I'm trying to explain things in the view of either a beginner player or someone who's never played it before. But if you've played it, you know exactly what I mean. And try to use optimal fail stacks. Now, I remember when I first started this game, there were no guides. You kind of just had to wing it. And if you watch my videos from many years ago, they've changed the UI of the enhancing system. So before, it used to be like, it didn't even have a percent. You just kind of had to guess. Nowadays, it'll literally tell you the percent success rate on enhances, which I think is obviously very good. But back in the day, it was all hidden. We just kind of had to talk to each other. Like, people would go on Reddit or the forums and just be like, I used this fail stack to get this item. And people are just like, okay, I guess it works. So yeah, you can actually watch some of my videos from back in the day. And we just kind of winged it. And when I got my first pen weapon, I was so stoked about it. And yeah, here we are. It's almost 2023. And the game is easier than it was before. So once again, if you are a beginner or like a returning player and have no idea what fail stacks to use on certain weapons, please feel free to ask. You could ask me. You could probably go on any forums, Reddit, or whatever, and ask. People will tell you the optimal ones. But if there's something in particular you're going for, feel free to like confirm what stack you're doing before you click it, because sometimes people don't really understand that the fail stack has a hidden value. It's not like you can sell it, but that stack costs you something to make it. So yeah, you kind of want to min-max a little bit on how much it'll cost to make a certain item. So feel free to ask. If you're going for like a black star or something, just any gear, whether it's boss or something, feel free to ask me what stack you need, and I'll give you a general range. So number 4, what we have is not putting workers on nodes and setting them up early. So when I first started this game, obviously the map wasn't as big as it was now. Obviously, when I first started, we only had this region, like Balano, Serendia, and then now it's been expanded to like have so many different regions. So as a new player, you look at this and it's like, what am I looking at, right? And even to this day, it's like there's a lot on the screen. So what I'm going to be talking about is nodes and workers. So if you don't know, I'm going to explain this from a point of view of a new player. These things are nodes on the map, right? And you like connect them from town to town, and then sometimes certain nodes have like work nodes on it, right? And so if you put workers on it, they'll gather materials from that area and put it into the region your workers are on. So the way you get it would be through contribution points, and that allows you to basically put your workers on that node And then in every town, there's an NPC that will like allow you to hire workers, and you can put them on the nodes, and then you'll pick up like resources over time. Basically passive money in other games, as we call it. So when I first started this game, I didn't really know how contribution points worked or how node systems worked at all. So I just kind of just left it there. So one thing you should start on early is whenever you get a contribution point, you always want to put it on something to make sure you're getting passive money over time. And I know you guys aren't going to have like 410 like I do. Obviously, that's not even a high number compared to like some others. But you build this up over time just by doing life skills and questing. And you'll like get more of them. And then you get more points. You put them on workers, nodes, and connections. So basically, you see these yellow lines right here, and the node is yellow or red. So that means they are connected. And what connection does is it allows you to put a worker on that node from a certain town. So for example, if I wanted something over here, I would have to connect it from this town or have a town connection towards it. And so like kind of like roads in real life, you kind of have to connect things from point A to B to C. And anyway, so always have a worker on some sort of node. You're getting passive money through items which you sell on the market, and that's what keeps the economy going. And so you always want to have this number as much used as you can at all times. So that's just a new player tip that I could give to people. I think it's very helpful, and especially if you're a new player, whether items are worth it or not, you just have to figure that out. Next thing we have is saving silver on buffs for grinding or life skilling. Now, this is something that you should look into very carefully, because when I first started playing, I was always like, oh, these buffs are kind of expensive, and if I'm using potions every 10 minutes or so, that's cost so much money. But realistically, I think over time, especially nowadays with grind spots, you want to use as much in terms of buffs, loot rate or drop rate, loot buffs, and all that stuff, because clear speed is very important. And so you kind of don't want to cheap out when you're grinding, and like the higher or the faster you grind, the more profit you get, and it will always outweigh the costs of buffing up most of the time. There are some spots that are kind of sketch for that, but I would say 99% of the time, you will always make your money back. And sometimes it would just be like you're breaking even, and I don't know. But either way, clear speed is everything. Highest loot rate or drop rate buffs are everything. If you can, try to max out your pets as a high priority. And by max out, I mean like tier 4, tier 5. Now, I understand this is a little bit pay to win in a way, but even if you are a free-to-play player, they do a lot of events, and you kind of just get a lot of pets for free. So let me give you an idea. So I have bought pets before. That's not a secret. But once I got like my pets to tier 4, I kind of just stopped buying because I was like, there's no need. And all of these over here are literally things that I've gotten from just playing the game. I have not bought a pet in literally years. So to give you an idea, they give a lot of them out for like holidays, special events. And by the way, this video is coming out in December, and that usually means they kind of give a lot of goodies away because, you know, holidays are coming up. They want people to play the game. So now is a very good time to either return or just either log in to get rewards. So just throwing that out there. Low key, it's you know, how do you get people back playing the game? So yeah, overall, back to the point of don't cheap out on buffs because you feel like you want to save silver while you're grinding. So yeah, clear speed important. If your stats are higher, use it. And generally, especially if you're going for rare items like the infinite potion, compass, map, rich merchant ring, high-end stuff, you always want to be using the 50% loot buff from the tent if you can. That's just important because while it may sound like a meme and you feel like it doesn't matter, trust me when I say it does. I've grinded a lot over the days in playing this game. Okay, so number, is that 6, I believe? Wasting energy on dumb things. Now, as you guys know, I've always talked about having multiple characters in this game, and even if you don't play it, unlike other games where you have a main and then you're stuck with it, in this game you could have basically one of every character at minimum plus some extras for season. I've always said it's a good idea to have multiple characters even if you don't play them. The reasoning why is because every character is an energy battery. So as you guys know right here, this is your energy pool, right? 162 is current energy out of my total 548. And every character has a different number of energy because when you're actively playing a character, you gain like, well, it depends on how many buffs you have running, but like 1 to 4 per 3 minutes. Now, if you aren't playing the character, it's 1 every like 30 minutes or 1 hour, something like that. So either way, the more characters you have, the more energy total you will have to use over time. And what you use energy on is getting these nodes. Remember what we talked about previously in another tip? Is you could spend energy to invest in a node and then put your workers on it. Or obviously, if you are a life skiller, gathering, hunting, just a lot of life skills in general will use it. So you turn energy into money more or less, like through time. It's kind of like grinding, but a little bit with extra steps. So anyway, yeah, energy is basically money if you know how to turn it into it. And even if you don't, never let your energy fill up to the maximum. You should always be doing something with your energy and try to, like, I understand that it does fill up. Sometimes you're just busy, but there are always ways to use your energy and make sure it's not maxed out. So there's an NPC in Velia, Aliston, and basically you could turn your energy into energy potions. So like these thingies, and is basically turning a lot of energy into lower energy potions. However, you can sell them. This is what I would do if you are literally in an emergency and you just can't dump your energy, but you could at least make some silver along the way. Usually energy is worth a lot more than that if you know how to like actively use it by gathering or something or hunting. But yeah, always try to do something with your energy on all your characters and it'll turn into money over time. So as we were talking about characters, try to use as much energy as possible. I know I have some full, I'm gonna go use that later, but yeah, use your energy, don't let it max out, and then you'll just be making more money over time. Number 7, not joining a guild. Now this has always been an interesting topic. I've played many MMOs in my day, and I get it. Some people play MMOs to play solo, and trust me, I get that. Even though, you know, MMO, online, multiplayer. So, even if you are a solo player in this game, which a lot of this game is pretty solo, I would say, you should always try to join a guild because being in a guild allows you to have a lot of perks and benefits. Like, 1, you get a daily pay. 2, the officers or the GM of the guild can pop buffs, and that'll just help you life skill, grind, do whatever, and get more XP out of it. 3, you get payouts for war, PvP, and all this stuff. 4, obviously, the whole point of a guild is social interaction, and I get that. So, like, if you are a solo player and don't want to, like, commit to anything, there are a lot of guilds out there. There's even a guild finder tab in, like, the settings somewhere. So it's like, you could go to, like, guild rankings or something, and then literally look through the pages. And a lot of guilds have a, like, info about the guild, and then they'll tell you, like, this is what we do. Are you a PvPer, PvEer, life skiller, casual? So there's something for everyone. And even if you like are a new player, I'm pretty sure you can find something that works for you. So either way, there are always like benefits of being in the guild, and especially with like the hidden stats of just being in a guild, you get stats. It's kind of weird, but I mean, I'm not complaining to keep it there. So with that said, try to join a guild as soon as possible. Find the one that works for you. And I know everyone does their own thing, but I don't know. I mean, social interaction, talking to people, making friends is always a cool concept. So yeah, once again, find a guild as fast as you can and try to make some friends, do whatever. That's usually how it goes. This one is an interesting topic, and I've done it as a mistake in the past, and I don't like regret it or anything, but I've branched off of it over time. Doing all your life skills on one character. Now, I don't necessarily think it's wrong to do it on one character because, you know, like they have like icons and stuff. You see those like icons on people, and it tells you like you're top 5 on this server. And so I get that people want to collect all the icons and stuff, and it's cool. However, if you do value your time, you should try to have all your characters, like, you know, how I told you to have multiple characters, set them to go do something else. Like, for example, if you have a character that you want to do sailing and bartering, obviously that's in the ocean, and that's kind of far away. Let's say you are down in the worst, like farthest part down here. Guess what you don't want to do? Bring your character all the way up here just so you can go travel into the ocean. So I used to do that, and then I turned another character into my sailor. So basically this is just sailing, and a lot of characters just do different things. So if you value your time, have multiple characters do different things, just so you don't have to move one character everywhere to do everything. Now, necessarily, I don't think it's wrong to do everything on one character. Just know you're gonna have to move your character from point A to B a lot if you feel like doing something. But yeah, so things I would recommend doing is having a character specifically for hunting, and then another character that you permanently would keep in town to do cooking, alchemy, processing, and another character for gathering. Yeah, that's about it. Sailing and bartering too as well. So the reason why is because you want to have a centralized hub for everything. So let's say you're gatherer. Let's say you enjoy gathering stuff out in the desert, right? Guess what the last thing you want to do is bring it back to town and cook it. So what you could do is, well, they've actually made it a lot easier with the Magnus nowadays. But either way, generally people will have a central hub for all of their materials and then cook it in, or like use process cooking, alchemy in the town. So you want to have another character that does all that, and it basically saves you a little bit of time. So yeah, that's another thing. I don't think it's wrong to do all your life skills on one character, but yeah, just if you want to branch out. Number 9, I believe. Doing gear roulettes. Now, this is always something I've talked about, whether it's back in the day or even now. What I would recommend doing is working on one piece of gear at a time. So let's say you're going for your first pen gear, and I don't know, let's say you have full armor and stuff, right? Let's say you have 4 armor pieces at Tet and you want to go for your first pen. I would always go one piece at a time, because even if the worst case scenario happens is everything straight downgrades, you'll only be losing one piece of gear, and then it won't be as bad as, let's say, all your pieces are at Pry with no durability. Now, guess what? It's hard to grind because nothing, like, you don't have armor. So they've made it easier over the years where you can basically get pen by doing various questing. Obviously, prices have gone down because new gear has come out. So being able to buy gear off the market nowadays is a huge bonus. And I think it's a smarter play for a lot of people. In fact, I think it's the smarter play for literally everyone. but obviously enhancing is a fun activity. So I'm not telling anyone what to do. If you like enhancing, by all means, you go enhancing. I do think enhancing is profitable if you know how to do it right. However, 99% of players do not know how to do it right. So I think myself included, sometimes I like tilt and use higher stacks than I should be. So I have a general idea of, you know, how to use Failstacks optimally, which you've seen me do in multiple videos. And, you know, that was number like 3 on our topic list earlier. So I know what to do. Sometimes I still tilt, but I think for a newer player, the best thing you should do is probably just buy your gear. But if you like enhancing, you like enhancing. I'm not telling you what to do. There's no right or wrong answer. So yeah, but if you are an enhancer, try to work on just one piece of gear at a time instead of YOLOing all your pieces and just yeeting your gear score down or up, whatever. And you'll figure it out eventually. It took me 2 full roulettes back in the day when tech gear was meant you were actually good. And then it went down to pry, and it took so long to get it back to tech. And so like downgrading and progress in this game is something you don't really want to do. Like, you know how in other games where you just do like the latest raid tier of whatever in any game and you get gear, you're good to go. In this game, you can actually go down in gear, and it doesn't feel good. Trust me, like in this game, when you hit a pen piece of gear or just like any little accomplishment you can get, it feels like you've earned it, which you have earned it because that's how you get it. So whether you're saving up silver to buy a piece of gear or you made it yourself, that's a huge accomplishment, and you should not go down in gear too badly. So one tip that I could give people is try to save up enough materials to get your gear back to where it was starting. So let's say you have a Tet Black Star and you're going for a pen. Try to save up enough materials to the point where at the worst case scenario, you can get it back to Tet. And then obviously that's easier said than done, but don't just YOLO it, but try to have some materials or use a backup gear and then figure it out yourself. So yeah, roulettes are bad. It'll make you like actually upset and it'll make you want to quit the game. Work on one piece at a time. And just try to save up enough materials if you are enhancing to get it back to where you started at the end. And our final tip that we have for today is grind spot optimization. Oh boy, this is actually a wild one. And I know a lot of people are very interested in this one. And as you guys know, people come into this game because they like grinding, or it is one of the major activities you do. Now, there's grinding, being able to kill an enemy, and then being able to do it optimally. So one thing I would do is generally look at these optimal AP numbers. And another thing you can do is, where is it? Monster Zone info. So basically this highlights all the relevant spots in the game. It'll tell you all the drops you can get, the AP, DP recommendations, and you can sort it by whatever AP you're at. And I actually have another video of this where I pretty much gave my thoughts and opinions of all the relevant ones here. And for the most part, they are very accurate. Let's take Elvia or Camp, for example. They say 280 AP, 340 DP, right? Yes, you can kill orcs at like 269, 270 AP. Does it mean you'll be able to kill them fast? And is it worth grinding at if you can do it? No, because you can kill them, or you can go somewhere where you're optimal at it, and you'll probably make more at a lower end spot because you're clearing faster versus being at the optimal zone with a lower amount. So once again, being able to clear it versus being able to do it efficiently is two different things. So my recommendation for you guys is just look at the optimal AP, DP stuff in most spots. And for the most part, I would say they're all pretty accurate. But if you are thinking about grinding in a certain place and have no idea, feel free. I'm happy to clarify and give you my thoughts and opinions. I've been playing this game for almost 7 years. I've pretty much grinded at every single spot in this game. Well, 99% of them, minus like the super 1% high-end spots that I don't think I'm ready for. But for the most part, pretty much everything but Crypt of Resting Thoughts I've done. So I can tell you what AP I've been there at. Was it optimal? And should you even be there? Is it like worth your time? So feel free to ask. Let me know what your AP or gear score is, and I can give you a general guideline of you could probably be here optimally. But once again, that also depends on how good are you at playing your class. If you're just now starting a class and have no idea how to play it, that's different. That's just a skill issue. And even if you have like a lot of gear but you don't know how to play it, you might want to start at a lower end where you don't just accidentally die and then you go lose crystals, and that's like downgrading progression. So you don't want to do that. So overall, that has been 10 mistakes that I've made. I used to grind spots because people were like, oh, it's good, and then I couldn't do it efficiently. But yeah, now I can. So hopefully those tips are good. If you guys have any that you would like to share with everyone else, feel free to leave it in the comments. And some things maybe that I haven't talked about might be good, but these are just tips that I think are important for newer players, returning players, and everything. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. A little bit about me in case you are new to the channel. I try to upload videos pretty regularly, daily and stuff. So I've been playing BDO for, I've said this before, almost 7 years. I've been playing it since the beta, and back when I started, there weren't any guides out there. We kind of just had to figure it out ourselves. And over the time, this game has gotten easier in the sense that things are more intuitive. They have more tooltips, and for the most part, I have a general idea of what I'm doing in this game, which is pretty good, and I would hope so after all this time. So yeah, what I try to do is make videos for whether you're a new player, returning player, or a veteran trying to get better at the game. That's what I try to do. So hopefully these videos help you, and hopefully you guys will subscribe and come back. So with that said, once again, thank you guys so much for all the support on the videos lately. Would love to see you come back, and have a fantastic day. I will see you tomorrow.